Okay.
All right, girlfriend, you ready?
Yeah.
Welcome back to Good Call with Mackenzie Salmon. I am the host, and I'm so excited for today's episode. This is called Mascara and Microphones. Obviously, had to bring my girl, the one and only Maddi MacClurg, who is the golf queen. I appreciate you being on. Tell me about what you currently do.
Yeah, so I'm an editor for golf.com, golf magazine. So mostly working in the digital space, video, writing, articles, and my split right now for work is a little bit of instruction, a little bit of gear, and hopefully a little bit of travel too.
I feel like you're always traveling.
I know, I'm always traveling, but I'm never writing about the traveling. So hopefully that'll change soon.
I feel like when I've seen your Instagram too, doing the demonstration stuff, even though it's not writing, like this is good video. This is good video content.
I have a really great team of videographers and editors that make me look good. There's no way I could do it alone. Usually I'm working with this guy Esley, who is just a legend. He's from New Jersey originally, actually. So
Have I met this guy?
I don't think you have, no.
I met one of your older coworkers once, maybe.
Yeah, I think you met some of the girls that were at that event with you. Yeah, but they're not with me at golf.com anymore, so. Or at golf.com. We were together at Digest.
Right. Okay. So first and foremost, let's just put this out here that Maddi and I met at a Michelob Ultra party.
Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, I think it was 2020. Yeah, that sounds right. It was a golf event, actually.
It was a golf event, and I was there with my ex.
Yeah.
And you came up and you're like, an IU pop socket. Did you go to, or you said, go Hoosiers. Didn't you?
I think I went IU.
Yes, you went
or
IU.
IU, up, down.
Yeah, I was like, how do you know? And then from there, it was like, you're kind of cool.
Yeah.
So,
which, side note, I did not go to IU. I just worked there for a summer as an intern, so.
But you still knew the Hoosiers.
I did.
Mattered.
Yeah. Bluebird, KOK, all the things that matter.
All of the things that matter. Night Beer brand brought us together. So this was 2020.
Yeah.
Me coming to New York when I met you, this was like brand new job for me. Had never interviewed anybody on a national scale. So I'm curious where your head was at when I met you in 2020. Where were you at in your media career? Yeah,
so I had probably just completed about a year at the first company that, like first golf, well, I guess not the first golf company, but my first like big girl job in the golf world at Golf Digest. And I was still working in the instruction space, but I was an assistant editor. So I was still really like learning the ropes from, you know, some of the people on my team, on the instruction team, and then also kind of just getting to learn about print media and like the golf media space from some of our other like leadership staff at Digest at the time. So I was a baby. Like I was still really new to everything. I don't even think I'd run my first video photo shoot yet. Which is not, that's pretty normal, I think. I think a year in, they would not expect you to have everything like down, but I watched a few, was definitely excited to like get my hands dirty and do it myself.
So was that what was your welcome to the golf world moment? Because for me, mine, welcome to the sports media moment was Miami 2020 Super Bowl.
Okay.
It was like, boom.
Okay, I would say my welcome to the golf world moment was the 2024 Masters. That year I had just won this like big event, or this big award for the National Golf Writers Association. It was in a new category, and I won an award with my team for writing this college golf story. It was called "Are You Good Enough to Play Golf in College?" or "Are You Good Enough to Be a College Golfer?" I can't remember the exact headline. I probably should.
And you played golf in college.
I did, yeah,
hockey.
And kind of that was where the idea stemmed from, was not knowing how to get your foot in the door to play golf collegiately, not knowing what your options were. I didn't know golf had Division III, Division II, Division I. I thought it was more similar to hockey where you only had D1, D3. So I think it was more of kind of looking back on my past and thinking, what did I wish I had known, and like what was the information I wish I had when I was making that big decision. And so I pitched it to the lead editor, I guess. Sorry, I don't know people's titles. I should know his title. Hold on. Sorry.
This is great. This is going to be great for the video. I don't know people's titles. 1 second.
Okay, so he's the digital editor.
Digital editor.
Sam Weinman, who was like one of my bosses. So because this wasn't an instruction story, which I had mostly written, I wanted to go to him for some guidance. And he and our like editor-in-chief, Max Adler, they really helped me like shape this story, and so did the rest of the team. I worked with Keely Levens on it, Greg Gottfried, who also went to IU.
Greg went to IU.
Who you knew. Luke Curtinine, Sam Weinman also wrote something for the package. So it was this big collective package that we all worked on together. But it was my first award, probably first and only maybe Golf Writers Association Award.
How dare you?
National Golf Writers Association Award, but that's okay.
Girlfriend, this is amazing.
And then from that, when I found out that we won, I asked if I could go to get the award. And I think they were kind of shocked because most people are either covering the Masters and already going for that. So they'll go to the Golf Writers Association, like kind of award ceremony, or they just kind of stay home. Nobody really wants to go to that. And I think because I was still so new and like green in the industry, I just wanted to experience it. I wanted to meet the people. I didn't even care about getting the award. I just wanted to see who was there and like kind of like network amongst some of the top golf writers in the country, around the world, photographers, you know, videographers, all these amazing people in golf. And so I asked, I was like, if I paid for myself to go, could I go and like go to this banquet? And they're like, sure. They were shocked. And
this girl wants to go get this award.
They're like, it's just gonna be a bunch of like people you don't know and like old dudes. I was like, oh no, I want to go. So actually, this was pretty early days with my boyfriend, who I'm dating now, and he, unbeknownst to me, rented a house for me to stay at in Augusta, like paid his own money. And so I stayed there thinking that it was like his friend's house. He told me it was his friend's house. And I got to accept the award. And then the next day, one of my friends threw like golf apparel, kind of. They had an extra ticket for the Masters, and they reached out and they were like, do you want to go? So it was a big, like a culmination of like all this work that I had done with my team, and then also a big moment in my golf life, because getting to walk on the grounds of Augusta National is so special. It's such a unique experience. And so I got to tick off 2 pretty big bucket list items.
I just got goosebumps hearing this. Girl, that's an amazing thing, and it's so deserved, because there are people in this industry that you can tell work hard, and there are some that are just kind of flying by the seat of their pants. And I feel like you are constantly working to be better, and you're very passionate about what you do, and I respect it so much.
I mean, I think
proud of you.
In our industry, you do kind of have to go by the seat of your pants sometimes.
Sometimes, for sure. Because you never know what's next.
Totally. And you never know when you're going to get called to do something. But yeah, that would be like my big moment in golf.
So you've got that under your belt. Is there any other event that you're
Well, I would say just
forward to?
After that, it immediately rolled into a big spread in the magazine where I tried to put up a few golfers to model for this big US Open story that was happening at Pinehurst, which for a lot of people that don't know, I'm from North Carolina originally and grew up taking lessons in the Pinehurst area. So then to have my boss say, hey, so like none of the golfers that you submitted are gonna work, like either scheduling conflicts or whatever, why don't you just do it? So then I got to like model, and I worked on my swing position so hard so that it looked good in the magazine. But then I got to like model for this like spread. It was like 3 pages or something in the magazine. And that was really special because following that, I got to cover the US Open and cover my first men's major in my home state. So that was really cool to cover a men's major where I kind of grew up going. That was the first men's major I ever went to growing up. And notice I say men's major, not just major, because LPGA is just as special and important.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we're going to talk about the women's game. So, all right. So the night the beer brand brought us together. Okay. Out of the way. All right. Next section we're going to do, and we're just going to keep getting deeper and deeper. And my notes are all over the place because they've been falling. But let me find, where's my next one? Okay. Here we go. All right. Different fields, same game. How different is the women's presence in golf versus the men's? That was literally my next question.
Well, I think when you look on a media perspective, it is getting better. You see more coverage of the LPGA by golf media. I think that we have been told in all sports the men are more interesting to watch. So by a default, they kind of have this leg up in terms of getting exposure and coverage. But when you really look at the women's and men's games, they're both head and shoulders better than like any amateur on the planet. Both the men and the women.
Every sport.
No, and I think it would be like really cool to see them kind of play head to head. I know there are some co-events where they will play LPGA and PGA Tour. But I think the games are really similar. The only difference is that for the women, the courses play longer, and that's just because they don't hit it as far as the men usually.
Gotcha.
However, there are some women that hit it a long way. Like they're big ballers. I mean, Lexi Thompson is probably one of the biggest hitters. And then there's a girl who just earned her LPGA Tour card, Riley Smythe, who, funny enough, was working with her, found out she's from my hometown. Isn't that crazy?
It's so weird how small the world is.
And she bombs the ball too. So
that's gonna be your next interview.
They hit it further than most average men. I mean, there are some men that sneak in there, but unless you're like training just to hit it far, which most of the PGA Tour players, you have to have a well-rounded game. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that there's some overlap between like how far some of the women bomb it and how far some of the men hit it. Maybe not a lot of overlap, but there's probably some. I mean, you look at like an LPGA Tour player, I would bet money that their short game might be better than the men. And that's just because they have to be. You look at like a par 5 for the PGA Tour versus a par 5 for the LPGA. Most of the PGA Tour players, they're reaching it in 2. For the LPGA, half the time it's too far to reach. So you either have to hit a long wood up and then hope that it gets gets close enough to chip it close for like a birdie, or you have to be really dialed with your wedges and like lay up to a comfortable number.
This is so sexy what you're saying right now. I think you keep talking, girl. I don't even know what you're saying.
But from an amateur standpoint, if you and I are watching golf, the game that relates the most to us would be the women's game. Like you and I, or me and like any amateur man. Exactly. To watch them play the game they do, they play it so perfectly that in my opinion, it's more fun to watch because you see more par saves that are like more exciting. The men, for the most part, they'll just like hit a drive, hit a wedge, 2-putt. It's kind of boring, no offense. I mean,
but I like the exciting stuff.
I love watching both games, but I do think that the women, they're a little underrated. I think if you know, you know. If you don't, that's okay. Learn. Go experience it.
So as a woman covering golf, I'm curious what your experience has been, because for me, being a woman and covering football, basketball, well, NBA I should say, but mostly let's stick with NFL. You don't see women playing football. It's just that's just not the thing. So I've always felt pretty comfortable covering. I've always felt welcomed for the most part. Covering national media is different because I don't go to every single game, and when you do go to individual games, the media people act a little bit differently because it's like, this is our team. I've covered every single game. I know all of them. But for the most part, I've had a pretty good experience covering football. Every now and then you get annoying fans that say stuff. But media members, I've not had any bad experience. So I'm curious what your experience has been like covering golf, both men and women, and what that's been like for you. Have you had any weird moments, or do you feel for the most part you've been pretty accepted?
I would say during my media career in golf, no weird moments. I think the golf media space is such a small world, and everybody's kind of in the grind together, and they all really have like a shared respect for one another. Even if you have like opposing opinions and like super hot takes, I think everybody is still recognizing like we're in the trenches together, much closer, like you and I are much closer in terms of like the media coverage than like other people who don't know about media coverage, right? So it's like having each other's back. A great example I would say is there's a girl I work with, Claire Rogers, who is quite possibly one of the funniest people in golf ever. She's hilarious, she has great tweets, and she gets great responses from fans, but golf writers specifically, and even like golfers, LPGA, PGA Tour pros, they love her and they respect her. I think she might have some of the most respect she might be one of the most respected journalists by the PGA Tour pros, because she doesn't really play golf, but she knows it so in depth. And you can tell based on the jokes she makes and just like how she covers the sport, you know, she's been around it for a long enough time, or has like gotten so into it that she knows the ins and outs of golf. She knows every little thing. I mean, she'll pull up like a stat or like, you know, a reference from like tournaments that were like years ago, probably years before she was born. So like she's obsessed with the game. And I think every golf media member feels that way, right? That's why we work in media, right? You don't get paid a ton. You know, you get paid enough to keep the lights on and everything, but you know, you're not rolling in it. And so that is kind of your compensation, is you love what you do. Yeah. And I think everyone in that media center knows that we all love golf. So that's where that shared respect really comes from.
And for you, so you dove into golf, but you've told me before that hockey's really big for you, and you played hockey growing up. Do you ever think you might go back and doing hockey stuff, or just for now you're like, I just like watching it and going to games?
I just like watching it and going to games. I think covering hockey is such a weird thing. I've watched a lot of people do it, and it's really hard to kind of get your foot in the door in a sport that you didn't play at a super high level. I would say, especially as a woman, if you didn't go to like a big journalism school and you don't have like connections. But I would never say never. Like, I would love to cover hockey. There's room for more women in hockey. I just think that we're going to start seeing more covering. I mean, you see like there's finally a female assistant coach. Yeah. And so I think tides are changing, and the NHL is starting to, you know, have more like diverse people in their sphere.
How do you personally stay confident in this industry? For me, the areas where I feel like I can sometimes feel that, ooh, is this what for me? Am I doing the right thing? Is when I give too much attention to negative comments from people, and a lot of times it's not even about the sport. It's what's wrong with her hair? Does she know what she's never played football? And it's like, well, no, duh, I've never played football. But if I love it and I'm passionate about it, it's not like I'm teaching someone to play football. I'm covering it. I'm talking about it. So, for you, what's it like for you?
I think that was always a big concern of mine, was negative comments. That was a big concern of mine. Before doing anything on camera, there was a coworker I confided in and told him, like, I know that they've asked me to do on camera stuff or like have suggested it, but like I'm so nervous for what the public how they're going to perceive me, because I can't control that. And I think as women, you're critiqued on more facets of your life, right? Like if you're a guy reporting on sports and you may not be, you know, the most attractive person, you might get a little bit of flack from people, but it's not going to be everything, because you recognize, he's ugly, but he can't control it. All right, let's move on.
You can't say anything. It's just like,
and there's still respect for like what they're saying. Yeah. But I don't know. I saw this like weird study. I want to say it was like a Harvard study, but apparently they found out that like when men see unattractive women, they're like annoyed immediately.
I saw that too.
And so I think that was what was sitting in the back of my mind was, I don't want to like change myself and change how I carry myself through the world, or like how I present myself to be on camera. But I also don't want to get like hate comments or weird, you know, responses from people, unless it's like a valid criticism of what I'm talking about. If you believe that the tip that I'm giving isn't good or whatever, I'm so welcome to that. Any kind of like feedback on what I'm talking about and the topic I'm discussing is always welcome. It's more just like the stuff I'm not talking about, right? Like my outfit, my hair, even like people's weight, or like certain things you can't control. But I would say it's weird. I think getting older, I just stopped caring as much, because you're not going to meet these people, and you're never going to make everyone happy.
Exactly.
And I think the biggest key to staying confident was just making sure that I was happy with the work I was doing. I was happy with how I was like presenting myself and like staying true to who I am. Yeah. And that I'm not going to like look back on this and feel like either I sold out and like did stuff that was untrue to me or my character, or that I didn't try because I was afraid of like how people would take it.
That's the worst. That's what I'm like nowadays, like you said, You just have to have thick skin and not care, because people are always going to have an opinion, and I would regret not doing something because you're scared of what somebody might say. They haven't even said it, and you know they're going to say it regardless. They're going to say it even if you don't post it.
Half the time, they're coming out of a place of jealousy, right? These are people, mostly men, who wish that they could do what you do. Yeah. And you have to remind yourself of that. The only reason I'm getting this is because that person's sitting on the couch watching me interview their favorite football player, basketball player, whoever, and like, I'm the one out here doing it. And I feel like that should give you a ton of confidence, right?
Exactly. Like, I'm living your dream life.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, who's your dream guest interview? Mine would definitely be Tom Brady.
Oh, obviously. Really? That's kind of a tough question. I might say Nancy Lopez because, well, she's a golfer. Okay. Like historic, iconic, like Hall of Fame, World Golf Hall of Fame golfer. I would love to interview her and ask her, at the start of her career, there was a lot of like, I don't want to say pushback, but like negative, there's a bit of a negative attitude towards her by the other LPGA pros, because she came out, she was young, I want to say she was 18 or 19, and just started winning like everything. And people were pissed that she came out of the gates and she was just
I'm sure this little
claiming titles. Yeah. So I would just love to ask her about her experience, like being that young, like just rocket ship of a player. Just like, she was insane. And I mean, she's tough, you know, but she's also really propelled the women's game in a great direction. Outside of golf,
who would you love to interview, or somebody that you think would be
I'm trying to think of like fun interviews. Someone that you like, because you want somebody who's going to have a lot of personality, you know? Like, I love Jason Bateman. I think he's hilarious. And he's like, I think he's into golf a little bit. He might be a good one.
I'm trying to think of other people too that would be into, that are like into sports and stuff. Because you see, Jason Bateman, and then what's his face who did the soccer thing?
Ryan Reynolds.
No, he's on the soccer show.
Ryan Reynolds, right?
No, not Ryan.
Like Ted Lasso guy?
Ted Lasso!
Oh
my God, he's a huge WNBA fan.
Oh yeah, he is. Jason Sudeikis.
That's maybe who it is.
He was an SNL cast member. That's the only reason I'm able to pull that name out.
Yeah, okay. I think he'd be kind of fun.
I think he'd be a good interview.
Here's the unfiltered. Here's the deep part of the... Yeah, let's take a drink.
Yeah.
Let me make sure my makeup is not jacked up. Okay. Oh my God, this is going to be great. Okay. Here we go.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yay. All right, girlfriend. So, do you feel like the world of golf is in a good place right now, generally speaking?
I think so. I think the overall goal of a lot of people in the golf industry is to grow the game. Mm-hmm. We're seeing more women that are playing golf, just, you know, amateurs, average players like you or I, who are joining the game of golf, and more young women too, which is great. We're seeing more people, like diverse people that are in the game, whether it's on the side of media, whether they're playing or just watching and they're fans, maybe golf influencers. So I think the game is more accessible than it's ever been.
How do you feel about players from different sports coming into the golf world and acting like they've been here, done this, they can talk about it, they can do it? Like, do you ever feel like you guys are regular media is like pigeonholed or put into a corner because different people are coming into the sport trying to be... How do you feel about that?
I welcome it because I did not grow up playing golf. I started playing golf when I was, well, I guess technically I grew up playing golf, but I started when I was 15. And it felt like I was such an outsider starting at 15. That sounds crazy. To pick up a sport when you're in like freshman year of high school and feel like you're an outsider in that sport is wild. But that is kind of how golf is. There are a lot of people that play from such a young age. I think it's mostly because we saw Tiger Woods, like who was raised essentially at birth, had a club in his hand when he came out the womb, and people just thought that was going to make you better. So there were a lot of like tight-knit communities in the golf world, especially like junior golf and then college golf. When I'm playing like competitively outside of my team, there were a lot of girls that knew each other, and I didn't know any of them really. I mean, started to as I, you know, played more and more tournaments, but I think it's great if you can be welcoming to people who haven't necessarily been there, done that. I personally do not mind if people are cocky or whatever, because golf is one of the most humbling sports on the planet.
You are so sweet, though.
No.
You're so sweet. You're like, I welcome everybody.
No, I do.
Like, oh, you're trying to play my sport that I've been covering for years?
You know why?
Okay,
because no one can join golf and just be good out the gates. You have to practice. There's not a single person that's picked up golf and hasn't been bad. I mean, the period for which you are bad differs from person to person, but everyone is bad at the start. And that's why I don't care if you come into golf and you're like a little cocky, because golf will humble you.
So are there any players that you see online or big media influencers that you're like, I know you suck at golf because I can see how your swing is. And I do demonstrations all the time. You're not that good.
I mean, we're starting to see tournaments now where people are playing their own ball and like playing out shots, right? So they're not able. So like if you're watching like a YouTube video and you're cutting together shots of you playing, you can really only show the swing, and like you can show where the ball lands, but you have to change positions because there's no way for you to keep your camera on the ball at all times, right? So you can kind of fudge the shots a little bit, right? You could hit a shot and it may not go perfectly where you want, but you hit the second one and it lands exactly where you want, right? So I'm not saying they're not hitting these shots. I'm just saying it would be interesting, and it will be interesting to see these tournaments pan out, because I have heard rumblings that there was a little bit of a cheating scandal in this like recent YouTube golf. There's a channel or series that's going on that's like creator, not classic, but like tournament, where people are playing for like $1 million. And I've heard that there may be a cheating issue in it. So it will be interesting to see who is that person. I honestly don't know. I just heard rumblings. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they talk about it though too.
I know.
Because cheating in golf is such a weird thing.
How do you even cheat in golf?
So that's the thing.
Unless you're like,
if somebody told me, oh, they're a cheater in golf, I'd be like, well, what do you mean by that?
Right. What does that even mean?
What does that mean? Like if you're playing with them casually, not for money, not in a competition, and they just, fluff their lie, which is where you like make your lie a little bit better, right? Say your ball's sitting down in the grass, it's not as like easy to hit. Maybe they'll like give themselves a better lie, or like move it into shorter grass, like the fairway. I don't know if I'd call that cheating if you're just playing casually, but if we're playing for money and you're like finding your ball in the woods,
big cheating.
Wink, wink, then I'm like, all right, keep my eye on you.
That makes sense.
But the thing is, once you cheat in golf, it follows you forever, because golf is a small world, and not even just from the standpoint of like being a tour pro or even in college. I think everybody's kind of circles, their golf circles locally, they all play together. And if you get caught cheating during a money match, that'll follow you forever.
Oh, I bet. I mean, I've cheated in putt-putt, but...
That's okay.
Okay.
Putt-putt doesn't count.
She said it's okay. Therefore, I'm good. Obviously, you have a boyfriend now, and we're going to be very respectful towards him.
Yeah.
Obviously. But dating as a woman in media... People ask me all the time, do you date athletes? I'm sure they're in your DMs. I've had men, when I've gone on dates with men, the first question they ask, like, so you sleep with everybody you interview?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I had a man ask me that. I'm like, are you dumb? You think I want to, first of all,
you were doing Zoom interviews for such a long time. How would that happen?
I'm like, yeah. First of all, I wouldn't tell you, but secondly, that's a wild question to ask. You think that I would just keep my job?
And a crazy assumption. Right?
And I'm like, you're clearly very insecure. So what's the dating world like for you in golf? Do you feel like there's a clear cut, like, media does not talk to athletes, but also how are the golfers?
I would say, I think that...
How much do you get into that? Because we all know baseball players, hockey players, they play however many games a year.
And they're traveling and stuff.
Yeah. What's dating like as a...
So I can only speak to like what I've seen. I have not really covered as much on the road as other media members, so they may know more. But from what I can tell, based on what friends have told me and what other media members have kind of like, the gossip circles or whatever.
Imagine golf would be that crazy. They seem
It's not. I don't think it's that crazy, but I do think that, well, dating as a woman in golf media, I don't think it's as weird because I think most of the time the players are very respectful. They know that you're there to do a job and that you're just there to do the job and move on. That's just my experience. I don't think that I necessarily interact with them enough to really be able to speak on that, but I will say that I think that in golf, because, and I'm sure this is like this for football or whatever, you know, I think it's such a busy schedule and you're in season for such a long period of time that you end up wanting to date people that are kind of on the same schedule as you. So I met my boyfriend through golf. He doesn't necessarily work in golf media through the same avenues that I do, but you know, he's still in the golf space. And I think that actually helps when you're dating because you have a lot more understanding when you've got to like, hey, I just got called on a last minute like gig, I have to fly out, whatever.
It's hard sometimes to find people that understand the schedule.
But I also think that
Lifestyle.
From what I've heard, that athletes are athletes.
Yeah.
I think that no matter where you go, there's going to be athletes from like the big leagues to the minors where you've always got some infidelity, but I don't necessarily I don't necessarily think that is a reflection on the sports. I think that it's interesting though about media dating players because I've seen it when I worked for the Hurricanes. You know, we were on the cheerleading team. Yeah. And so we signed a very strict contract that said you may not date players. If you do, you can be fired like that. It's basically,
they still do that?
They said it was like a case by case basis, wink, wink, more so like we will fire you. I think it was more like they have to put it in specific writing so that it's not so black and white, but it was pretty well understood that if you date a player, you're gone. And I will say there were other members of our team, maybe not media per se, but they worked for the team. And there were other members of the staff, the Hurricane staff, that were out seen like kind of fraternizing is the best word with the players. And I think what's interesting about that is the cheerleaders were held to this really crazy standard. Not that I necessarily wanted to be out with the players, but I thought that it was a really big double standard to hold people who you're paying like $25 a game or $50 a game, whatever it was. I think it was $50 a game, and that's like for 5 hours usually. So you're getting paid like $10 an hour. Not great. And so to hold them to that standard, but then allow like more front of house to be interacting with players, drinking with players at bars. I think it should just be kind of a
universal, everybody just business and pleasure separate.
Yeah. If you can keep it separate, keep it separate. If you can't and it's going to affect your job, then that's when you should.
Because I get it. It's like if you had everybody on the team, we can date this person, and there's just drama.
Totally.
And then the team breaks apart. Like there's just no room for it.
Yeah.
So I get that. I was curious if like golfers are a certain type.
I haven't like heard anything specific. Unfortunately, I think that that's well, you know, I love a little bit of gossip, but I also think that is just a testament to how boring golfers are. Golfers are like pretty chill.
I need to date a golfer now that you're starting to convince me, girl. Should I start? No, I'm kidding. You're like, let me close this window real quick and shout out the neighbors for always doing something. Oh my god.
Yeah, what are they doing? They must be like leaf blowing, even though the leaves are all still in the trees.
Doing something. And I'm surprised the dog's not barking at this point too. Okay. All right. Okay, spicy stuff.
Okay.
Done, girl. We're rolling through this. It's time for Out of Your League. We each are going to pull a random sports term from a hat.
Ooh, fun.
But the catch is it's not from our sport.
Okay.
So you're going to do football.
Oof.
I'm going to do golf. And we have 15 seconds to fake our way through explaining what this is. And I know I'm going to like insult golfers everywhere
you're fine.
From this.
But football is so not my sport, so that was a good pick for you.
Yeah, well, golf is not mine either. I was Googling some of these. I'm like, Andrea, you got to take hold of these because I know I'm going to look at them and try and cheat. because I know nothing about golf for these. So she's got some for us. Let me get our hat. Can we grab a hat?
Oh my God, wait, what if you picked a golf term that I didn't
picked
know?
Ooh, that's what I'm scared.
That would be
you're gonna pick
nuts.
a football one, then I'm like,
Oh my gosh, wait, what if ChatGPT made up terms
I'm
too?
gonna cry. I'm gonna get mad because I pay for the extra chat.
Do you?
I pay for the upgraded.
You're like,
it's
I
$10 a
upgraded
month."
it so I don't have to pay for my therapist anymore.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Okay, I can pick you pick mine first and I'll try to
Okay.
BS my way through this.
Okay, first one. What is a ball hawk? 15 seconds.
Okay.
You gotta convince me.
A ball hawk is, when you're playing football and there's like a big pile of dudes and they're trying to fight over the football and they're trying to hold on to it. Have you ever remember the Titans? Hold on to it, Petey. That's a ball hawk.
You kind of that was pretty good. You even referenced Remember the Titans, so I'm gonna give that a 5 out of 10.
Okay, what is a ball hawk?
A ball hawk. It's a defensive back.
Oh.
Who's skilled at intercepting passes.
Oh.
So he's a hawk and he's looking for the ball.
Oh, dang it.
But no, I liked yours.
Okay.
Hold on to it, Petey.
That's one of the best moments of the movie. Okay, all right.
That was fun.
Your word is draw or fade.
Okay. This one I think is going to be definitely one of the easier ones. So, fade means... Okay, I know. Let me start this over. Ready? Okay. So, a draw
15
or fade
seconds.
is when you're hitting the ball and it kind of does a little curve. Either, I don't know, left or right, but it goes a certain way.
Yeah, you're right. That's right.
Really?
Yeah. So, a draw is
Left?
to the left and a fade is to the right.
Oh my God. Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, you're good. That was great. I'm going to set the ones we didn't do on the table so I don't accidentally ask you again.
All right.
Okay.
Next one, your turn. Okay. Let's see here. I think this is going to be a good one. Oh, God. I don't even know what this one is. A road grader.
A road grader? Oh, okay. So this is a term used in football when they're really like gritty, and when they're on the road, they perform really well. When they're on the road, they're a road grader. They're tough. They can handle, being, traveling to an away game. They can handle the hotel bed. They're a road grader.
That's pretty good. They're a road grader. So a road grader is a physically dominant defensive lineman.
All right, I said they were gritty.
Yeah, you said they were gritty.
Maybe I went more literal.
went on the road,
I went
but-
more literal with the road. Next one
Okay.
is a hack. The other one I don't think is a term, so we're gonna go with just a hack. They're a hack.
A hack?
I feel like it's
A
a
hack is just when you're really pissed off at the ball and you just hack it.
close. It's a result of being a hack. So a hack is somebody who's not very good at golf. They're a hack. You're a hack. So, but that's because I think it originated from like you're hacking at it because you can't get it. You know what I mean? So it like comes from, they're a hacker, hack. They're a hack. Yeah.
It's like a 5 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't got half that.
All right.
Okay.
Hit me with the
Yay.
next one.
Hit me with your best shot. Nah, nah, nah. Oh, this one's easy. A gunslinger.
A gunslinger. Oh, that must be like maybe a quarterback who's really good at hitting people in end zone. Maybe they're like slinging that thing,
Girlfriend.
hitting them.
Nice. A gunslinger's a quarterback that's just got a crazy arm.
Yeah. Okay, that was almost perfect.
Nice job, girlfriend. Yay.
I've never actually heard that term before. So
He's a gunslinger.
gunslinger.
Really?
Yeah, never.
Oh my God, that was a great. That was
Thank
the
you.
Perfect,
My dad will be proud.
that was the perfect explanation.
Thank you. Appreciate
Good
it.
job. Okay, your turn.
Okay.
Or my turn. Okay.
No, your turn. Okay. A fried egg.
A fried egg.
You want a hint? I'll give you one. It looks like what it sounds like. It looks like
Fried egg.
a fried egg.
So a fried egg is when the ball is in the sand and the top is just hanging out. It's just that's the yolk.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so when the ball gets plugged in the sand, sometimes you get a really unfavorable lie based on how it lands in the sand, and it ends up looking like a fried egg. Like you
often
just
do they use that
cracked
term?
a lot because you get them a lot.
Oh, how many
So
fried eggs?
basically, I mean, like you'll get them every now and then, but like on the PGA Tour, you'll see one at least every round probably. But basically, yeah, so half the ball or less will be hanging out of the sand. And so you have to really like drive down to get it out. Yeah, it takes a lot of power.
Really hack it.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. We got 2 more. Bell cow. What's a bell cow?
A bell cow? Well, you know, a bell cow in football is a play that you do. You know, the quarterback is the one that calls the bell cow and makes it happen, right? So it's not like a Hail Mary, but it's similar, but it's still different from a Hail Mary. Yeah. Running routes.
You can convince me of anything, but I do know what a bell cow is.
What is a bell cow?
But you convinced me.
Yeah.
A bell cow is basically a running back that consistently gets the ball. You just constantly go to him. So like
I'm learning
little bell
football
cow.
might have some better terms than golf, I think.
Let me explain it to you. But yeah, star running back who receives a high volume of carries. So they're
Okay.
constantly giving it to him. So like when you ring the bell for cows to come home,
Okay.
they go running.
Oh,
So I guess that's
okay.
what they call the bell cows.
I didn't know
When
that.
it's time for dinner, and you hear the little cows come home. Okay, your turn. Or my turn. Okay.
Okay, I've never actually heard this term.
Oh God. So I'm
Can't
screwed.
confirm if it is, if that's what it is. It says frog hair. I will also give you fringe.
Fringe. Fringe is when you are so excited of the shot you just hit that you start to get little goosebumps, and they look like frog hair.
I love that explanation. Unfortunately, it is the closely mown grass
for
just
you.
off the green. We would also call that the fringe.
Fringe.
The fringe.
Closely mowed grass. So is that
That
the
is
grass that's,
like-
not completely cut, or it is cut?
So here's a good way of thinking of it. The fairway extends all the way up to the green, but you have to define the green somehow. So the green is cut shorter than the fairway. And when you get up to the green, it is no longer fairway, it is called the fringe. But, I mean, it's still not the green. So you can't like mark it or do anything on it. Yeah.
Learning things.
Do I have one more? I feel like I do.
You do.
Okay.
What's a sack?
Oh,
You know.
sack that quarterback, make eye-to-eye contact again. That is when you
Yes.
tackle someone.
Yes.
That's a sack. Maybe the quarterback. Yep.
Yes, girlfriend. Out of your league. Look at that. That was
I got
amazing.
one.
Look at
Boom.
you. No, you
Whoa,
got
2. I got
two.
gunslinger.
You got, yeah, exactly.
And I'm gonna incorporate that into some golf terms, right? I'm gonna start calling people gunslingers, right?
I think that's a good.
They're hitting darts into the greens. They're gunslingers.
Okay, so this is going to be our next segment. It is called Red Flag or Green Flag. And we're going to pull up some funny things with either sports, life, and we're going to each other just be like, is this a red flag or green flag for you? First one. They clap when the plane lands. Is that a red flag?
I don't know.
It's a red flag.
Nowadays it feels like a beige flag because with the air traffic controllers not getting
Facts.
paid, they're tired. We're lucky that plane landed.
You know what? Actually, I recant what I said originally.
Yeah.
Beige
now,
flag.
in this current state, maybe in like a couple years it'll be a red flag though, because
Right, maybe. Okay, next one. Let's see here. 8 p.m. call time. Is that a red flag or a green flag to you? To me, that's a red flag because I cannot stand staying up late. I'm a morning girly. If it's-
like for a shoot, you mean?
yeah, or like a game
Or a
something.
game?
So football for us,
Oh.
games start late, or basketball. I guess for you, golf is early. But could you imagine an 8 p.m. call time? Like you're starting your day at 8 p.m.
We've got TGL, which sometimes goes at night. And that's an indoor golf league for anybody who doesn't know. It's fun to watch, but it is at night.
Indoor
and so
golf
I would say red flag though, because
I think red flag for. I'm just not a late night girly.
I'm a night owl, so that's my time to myself though. You know,
Really? Mm-hmm. What time do you normally go to bed?
like midnight.
Oh wow, I'm like a 10 p.m. So then 5 a.m. 5 a.m. call time for me is a big green flag.
Yeah, I love a 5 a.m.
I love 5 a.m.
call
Get it done,
time.
get it early.
You know why? Because there's never any traffic in the morning, so
No.
it's easy to get to where you're going. Love it.
Love it. he or she posts their significant other on social media consistently.
I'm good with that. That's a green flag.
Green flag? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I post my boyfriend that much.
I've never seen you post anything.
He's posted me like one time for my birthday, which totally fine.
They have their ex's Netflix password saved.
That's like definitely a red flag.
That's a big red flag because if I'm talking to someone new and they pull it up, I've had that before. Where
If I were watching Netflix with someone, you know, Netflix and chill sesh, and they pulled up and it was not their name on the account,
like Kathy
and it said a
or
woman's name, and I was like, "Is that your mom or your sister?" And they said no. I'd be like,
"While I'm here." Come on now, you couldn't have done the free trial.
Yeah, seriously.
So
It's like what, $7? Maybe it's more now. Netflix raised their prices. Yeah. Rip.
That's true. Rip. I know.
I can't even use my parents anymore. Okay.
They trash talk during rec league pickleball. Your face.
Well, that's a red flag, but I'm a guilty party on that. I'm a guilty party on that.
Trash talker.
Mackenzie. I am so competitive, it's not even funny. And I used to play beer league hockey, and I would think of like I'd be in the mix, and instead of paying attention to the game, I'd be thinking of things to say at the opponents. Well, they were like rude though. They hated having women play in the league. They would like be extra aggressive towards you.
Oh, then I
you
would
know?
absolutely too.
Yeah.
You and your mom.
But I definitely take a game seriously. Yeah. So it's probably a red flag, but that is a cross I bear.
But I think it's kind of also beige because you're passionate about something. And if you can see that passion, I like a little weird too. As long as you're a little weird. Like, oh, why are you so obsessed with
I trash talk when I play backgammon with my boyfriend. So we're playing board games, and I'm like, in your face.
You suck.
Yeah. No.
Okay. They run late but bring you coffee.
Oh, green flag. Green flag.
Okay.
If they know your coffee order, if they didn't have to text you ahead of time and they bring the coffee, green flag. If they text you and they ask what you want, green flag. If they show up without a coffee for you, though, that's a red flag.
Because people that run late really, I don't know why, but I know why. Because my dad growing up would be like, if you're not early, you're late.
Yeah,
and so,
I am someone that runs late a lot, but if it is something I've committed to, like if we have plans.
You weren't late today.
I'm never more than like 5 minutes late.
No, that's fine.
But
like
if it's
20,
a loose hang, no plans, no reservations, and we're just kind of meeting up, then I think it's a little better among friends. If it's a date, though, I think it's a red flag because for dates, you should be on time.
Absolutely. I like that one. Okay. Next, he says she's like a sister to me, but they dated twice. No! You got me all the way. No.
Have you had somebody tell you that?
Yes. You've not had somebody be like,
No.
oh, she's like a sister to me, but you know we've known each other for years.
No, because I wouldn't.
Kind of dated for a little bit. But
No,
it wasn't
no.
me.
If I heard that, I'd be out. I'd say, no.
Out.
Why are you keeping people that you dated? Exactly. I could understand if you're like, oh, when we were in college, you know, we got really drunk and we made out or something. If you dated, that's like a much larger commitment than like a drunk whoops.
Exactly. And especially if you're talking to somebody new, it's like that's really disrespectful.
And I would just assume, and also like, I don't know, at what point are they telling you this? If it's really early on, why are they coming around? Like, why is that best friend coming around so much, right? Then I go, that doesn't seem right. But then if it's later on, I'm like, why didn't you tell me earlier?
Exactly.
So I think it's just a red flag all around, yeah.
Red flag.
The biggest red flag you could think of.
He takes off his shirt to play Topgolf. Your face, Maddi.
That is like the biggest red flag. If he takes off his shirt to play Topgolf, unless he has a condition where like he has to like
or something?
Yeah, I don't know, or like he need I don't know, but that has to be the biggest red flag.
Your face.
Also, if he brings his own golf clubs or a golf glove to Topgolf, that feels like red flag adjacent. That's an ick. More than it is a red flag, it's an ick.
It's just like it ain't that serious. It's Topgolf.
If they take their shirt off to do anything, that's a red flag. Seriously.
Basketball shirts
Like
and skins.
when I see dudes running on the West Side Highway and they don't have a shirt on, I'm like, put a shirt on.
Especially for Top Golf.
Top Golf, that's just weird, but like,
Top Golf is weird. They use speakerphone in public.
I hate that.
It's a big red flag for you.
I don't know if it's a red flag, but I hate it.
I feel like
know?
when people are just, when it's loud and obnoxious, it's like, can we just like,
There's
not have it
nothing
on
worse than
full-blown
like
speaker?
when you're trying to, like, say you're waiting for the PATH train or you're like trying to walk somewhere and there's somebody who's like obviously walking in the same direction as you and they're on speakerphone or
And I hate too, in addition to a speakerphone, is when people
the
play
bass.
music.
Music.
People play music on the path, and
I
it's
hate
like,
that.
why are we playing music? And it's
Biking
always
around the
blasting.
city, they got their speaker on that. Yeah, I can't stand that. I
Nobody wants to
also,
hear your music.
I can't stand if you're gonna take a FaceTime, public, whatever, private, but there are people around, you should have AirPods in. There's no reason to do because the feedback on the FaceTime, you always hear like something from them, like background noise that's loud. It's like cutting in and out.
Yep. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Their top artist on Spotify is Nickelback.
Well, now hold up, Mackenzie.
Hold up.
Because Nickelback has some bangers, all right? And
Okay, so then
they
who
may
would-
have been raised by their divorced dad, which that's a green flag.
So you are a Nickelback fan.
I'm not a
Nickelback.
I'm not a Nickelback hater.
Specific.
I'm not a Nickelback
explanation,
hater, all right?
though. Their dad was divorced.
But that's like divorced dad music, and that means they spend a lot of time with their divorced dad. If they, that's like,
Look at this
photograph.
Maddi MacClurg. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of Mascara Microphones for Good Call podcast. And thank you for helping to prove that golfers and football girlies can get along.
Yeah.
Or girls from different sports can get along.
Absolutely.
I should say. So could you explain one more time your Instagram, how people can follow you, find you,
Yeah.
all your important information?
Yeah, so my Instagram, I think all my socials are the same. It's just Maddi MacClurg. You should be able to find me by searching that up.
What's the big project you got going on that you're most excited for?
I don't know if I can say exactly.
Okay.
So maybe something in the next month for Tiger. He's going to be 50 at the end of December. So maybe
Tiger's gonna
something
be
for that.
50?
Isn't that wild?
Tiger's gonna be 50 years old. Jeez.
And then hopefully next year, a new series where I get to just kind of do my own thing and create my own voice. That's something that I'm really excited about.
I'm excited you started doing being on camera because
Yeah.
one of the last times we chatted forever ago.
Yeah.
when we were getting food, you were like, "I think I'm gonna start doing video," and I'm nervous.
I
And I'm
know.
like, you're beautiful. You know what you're talking about. No wonder they want you on screen. They're like, "We gotta get this girl on here. She's gorgeous."
Yeah. I just
But I'm excited for you.
got to
Keep
learn to
writing.
control the face. It's like you can just, what I'm thinking without me saying it, and that's not always great. Not always great, so.
No, you're special. I'm
Thank
so
you.
proud
My
of
mom
you.
says that, so.
You are.
What?
You are. So I want you to explain to me what your good call of your career was, or maybe a bad call you had. Both. I like doing both. What's a really good call you made that paid off, and maybe a bad call that didn't end so well, but it ended up working out okay?
So I think my good call and my bad call kind of roll into each other. My good call was, I'll start with my bad call. So when I graduated college, I knew I wanted to kind of work in golf, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I was working for a smaller golf brand and I was cheerleading for the Hurricanes and I was working at a golf course as a bev cart girl and I was doing a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
And I met some people in the golf industry while I was working for this golf brand and then didn't really capitalize on meeting those people because I don't think I understood how powerful networking is in the media space.
It's true.
I think I just assumed that without a degree, like a formal journalism degree, I just had a communications degree, without a formal journalism degree or something with film, that it was going to be really hard to break out in that space, especially living in North Carolina. So I just kind of took that without capitalizing on meeting people who sent the power of a thank you note, the power of a thank you text or a thank you email is unmatched. People remember you if you like if you can handwrite a thank you note, that goes such a long way.
Nobody's doing handwritten notes.
Meeting people in the golf industry, and you know, they were like, oh, I'm looking for a producer, or like an assistant producer. Do you know anyone? And I literally would like send them contacts that I had because I did not realize they were talking about me, right? They were like trying to be nice.
Oh, yes.
So kind of like being naive and also not knowing the power of networking. I then gave up on like working in golf because after working for like a year and a half, actually it was almost 2 years that I didn't really like meet people in media aside from one or two folks. And I kind of put golf like on the back burner, and I started wanting to just make money, right? Like, so I did inside sales, did that for about 8 months. And the best thing that I did was then start reaching out. That like, I didn't realize how powerful networking was, but then I had a friend who was able to connect me with somebody through either LinkedIn or through email when they heard that I wanted to work in golf. And I was able to pick this guy's brain, how I could make my resume more powerful. And through talking with him about my resume, I asked him, what would you recommend if I wanted to work in this space and get to here? And he told me, go on LinkedIn, find the job you want across different companies. So say it's golf.com, Golf Digest, Golf Week. Go find the people that are in your position, the position you want currently, and then look through their LinkedIn, see what their experience was. You don't even have to reach out to them to ask them how they got there. Right. Now with technology, you can see. And then start looking into roles that are like aligned with what their entry-level roles were. And so that was what I did. Smart. And I actually went all the way back, and I found this internship through the AJGA. It was a communications internship. So they have two. They have operations, and then they have communications. And communications is a much smaller intern program. So I think out of over like 1,200 applicants, they only had 12 people that they ended up taking for the entire summer. And so luckily I like made it through, got this offer for the internship, and I was super nervous. I was 24, and I did not want to be that person that was like 24 hanging out with 20-year-olds who were interns and whatever, and it felt embarrassing, but I got over myself and I did that internship, and that ended up being the best thing possible because that was my good call, was deciding to do that internship. I was a little on the fence. I had people in my ear. Even like my mom was kind of like, I don't know if this is really going to pan out. You're going to waste a whole summer on this. And like, you could be trying to like job hunt.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
And what kind of sealed the deal for me was the job where I was inside sales at. They let us go a week after I got the call about this internship. And I was going to give them my 2 weeks the following week. So it felt like a sign. It was like a redirection. And I was like, all right, I've already got this lined up.
Yep.
Texted my old boss at the golf course and I was like, hey, can I work here for like a month and make tips basically? And he's like, yeah. So I did that. I did the internship for the summer and like did a good job at the internship, had a top performing post because the communications side of that internship was video editing. It was like making videos really quick, fast turnaround, and then also doing a bit of writing. And so I had a top performing post that like you're able to put that on your resume, whatever, and applied for the position at Golf Digest while I was actually still on the road at my last tournament. And I got an email back on the drive back. Like we were driving through, I want to say like Virginia when I received the email, and I was so excited. I thought it was fake, to be honest with you, because Golf Digest had been recently purchased by Discovery. So it was somebody with a Discovery email, and I was like, wait, but Golf Digest is owned by Condé Nast. Maybe this is like, I applied to a fake job.
Oh yeah.
And I was so scared, but I sent him my info, set up a call.
It's crazy how life works, and
it is.
You were just about to be like,
but I think
I'm gonna do an internship, and then it ended up working.
To summarize what the bad call was, it was not reaching out to people that want to help. It was not knowing the power of networking, and also putting yourself in position to be around people, right? If you know that there's going to be a big event, say it's football, basketball, golf, and you know there's going to be like media members there or people in the positions you want there, you should try to go. But no, I would say my good call was not just trusting my gut, but being willing to take one step back to take two steps forward, right? Like taking that step back to do an internship, even though I actually didn't think it was like below me, but a lot of people around me were like, no, you should be in an entry level role, not an intern role. Yep. That's a great way to kind of restart, like give your career a little bit of a jump start and meet people, right? There were tons of people at that internship doing operations that were operations interns that wanted to work in sports and ended up going to work for like NFL teams, NBA teams across all sports. This is the AJGA, that internship is so well recognized throughout sports media and just sports in general, that the willingness to like be a little bit embarrassed about doing it a little older, a little later, actually propelled me further than I would have gotten had I spent that summer like doing anything else, trying, you know what I mean? Trying to make connections or whatever.
I think a lot of people that want to be in this industry don't realize that you have to put in the work. And I've even mentioned that before. You have to be humble and put in those annoying hours to prove that you want to be here. And I feel like with those internships and those moments, you realize that, is this what you really want? Yeah. Because you're not getting paid a lot. And sometimes you're not even getting paid. My first internship was working at a radio station and it was unpaid. Wow. But I learned how to do spots. I was recording commercials for clients and you learn things along the way, but it also helps to build into your greater, bigger picture of what you got going on.
Totally. And there are tons of internships out there. And if there's not internships, look for volunteer positions. That was so I did an internship that was unpaid technically through the IU at their diving camp that they run. And it was with the U.S. Olympic team. They were there. I was there to capture photos of the camp for the coach who was running it, but also capture photos and videos of the Olympic team like practicing. Yeah. And from that, I didn't really meet a ton of people in the sports space, but I leveraged that and let a couple of people that were in my like community at Greensboro, where I went to school, know that I wanted to do like social media or work in golf in some capacity. And I actually had one of my old golf like teachers, instructors reach out, and he was like, hey, I met this guy, you should email him and say that you want to work for the local, it was called the Wyndham Championship. It's a local PGA Tour event in Greensboro. Okay. And so I just emailed them on the off chance and said, hey, do you have any intern positions open? Or not, like, obviously I didn't say that. I think we met up for coffee. I like asked him, hey, I would love to like just chat, hear about how you got into your position, because that's actually how you really forge those connections. You don't want to be the person that's like, how do I get there? Because people want you to figure it out on your own, because they kind of had to do it for the most part. Absolutely. So the best thing you can do is ask them if you can learn about them. Who wants to talk about themselves more than, you know what I mean? It's a subject we know best. It's the subject we love talking about. So ask to learn about this person. Hey, I'd love to learn about your life, how you got into your job. I'm a senior at UNCG and just looking to work in golf. And got a coffee with him, told him that I wanted to be either in social or like media. And he introduced me to a few people on their media staff and ended up getting a volunteer position as a quote unquote intern. I was more like an assistant to this woman who was coordinating their volunteers. And it was really kismet because I was doing that for about a week. And then at the end of that week, they got a call from their social media intern who was supposed to come through that following week to start. And he was like, hey, I got a full-time job. I can't come. And so I leveraged the social media internship that I had just finished. And I said, well, I just finished this. I could do it for you.
And see, that faith of knowing that you're going to figure it out.
But like, it was timing, but it was also being in proximity. It was being the volunteer that, because they could have put out a job call for that, but I'd already, curated all this goodwill with people. And
when you get to know somebody, that goes so much farther than just opening an email of, hey, I want to be you when I grow up. Tell me how you got there. It's like, no, how about you take an interest? We chat. And then if someone comes along, the fact that you took your time out of your day to come talk to me and ask me about myself, I'm going to put you through way more than
offer to buy people a coffee. Coffee goes a long way. And obviously I still had to interview for that job. But that job was what helped me get my internship at the AJGA, because the person that ran that tournament, he was a former AJGA intern and like staff member. Oh. And so having the tournament director say a few good words on my behalf really sealed the deal for me. And you just don't know who's connected. I think that's the point. And so, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and tell people what you want and what your dreams are. It feels embarrassing when you're just starting out. At least I did.
Oh, I did. I mean,
it felt like I was going to jinx myself if I said it and couldn't do it. But if you're somebody that knows, like, you'll follow through, trust yourself. You can do it.
Okay. Maddi, thank you so much for being on here. I feel like today's conversation was good proof that you don't always need good lighting or the perfect makeup. It's just showing up for yourself in life. So,
absolutely.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your good calls. And guys, make sure you share yours. What was your good call of the week, bad call of the week? Thank you so much, Maddi.
Good call.
I feel like
doing this podcast was
I'm passionate about golf now. I'm like, wow, I need to go play.
We gotta get you watching golf.
I know I'm left-handed though. You'd have to teach me how to swing.
Well, I can teach you how to swing, but I'm saying like I gotta get you tuning in.
I know. I want to go in person. I'm an in person.
There's a women's event in like May. We can go.
Deal. All right. Thank you, love.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Of course. This was so fun.